2 Crocs,
3 kidneys.
Welcome to Crocs in the Kitchen.
I am Brian.
And I am Jessica. And we are not in a kitchen, we are in a hotel room in Rochester, Minnesota. Also, this guy is in a lot of pain, so we're just going to try to get through this one as quickly as possible. We have a ton of updates to give you guys since the last video we posted. And we're going to do a lot of the bulk of the updates here, but then we're also going to give you some more information in some future videos as well. The first thing to address is in the last video, which was about Brian's kidney biopsy. We told you guys that I was also getting scans the following day, and I wanted to update you on those. My scans came back fine. If you remember back in February, I think, or late February when I had my scans, they had wanted to repeat after 2 months instead of my normal 3 months because they found some little small minor differences in some of my lymph nodes that they wanted to keep a closer eye on. Mm-hmm. So they went ahead and had me do scans after 2 months, which lined up really nicely with the biopsy Brian ended up needing, and everything worked out. But my scan just looked exactly the same as it had in February, no changes. The lymph nodes didn't go back to the way they were before, but they also didn't change at all. So they're just going to put me back on my regularly scheduled 3-month scans. But technically, still just no evidence of disease for me. And that was just a really big relief for us because we needed me to be just fine and all right and like another 3-month holding pattern, in order to be able to focus everything on Brian.
Yeah.
Now the biopsy results that we got back, we were hoping to have back. He had the biopsy on a Wednesday. We were really hoping to get him like by Friday before the weekend. We were being really optimistic, but we ended up not getting him back until the following Wednesday, which was May 8th. And they came back, and what did they say?
So they came back as I do have cancer. The actual pathology said it is clear cell renal cell carcinoma, grade 3. Now, grade 3 is not stage 3. Grade 3 is just how the cell looks compared to a regular kidney cell, and there are 4 grades. So mine is, it's slightly worse than grade 2, not grade 4. And so it basically just means that those cells react differently or grow slightly differently than grade 2 or grade 1. But it's in about a quarter of all cases of renal cell carcinoma, it's grade 3, and it doesn't change the path forward at all.
I think we were mostly anxious about getting the results because his kidney removal, his radical nephrectomy, fancy words, was scheduled for May 9th.
Yeah.
And so the biopsy happened on what, May 2nd?
Yeah.
Yeah, May 2nd, I think. Yeah. And so we just wanted to get those results back so that we knew what the exact path forward was.
Yeah.
A lot of people have brought up that they've been diagnosed with the same thing and they didn't even have a biopsy. They just went straight to the surgery. And honestly, that was going to be the case in Brian's situation as well. Mm-hmm. But during the talk that we had with the doctor at Mayo Clinic, we brought up, hey, can we do a biopsy? And he was like, you know what? Yeah, we actually can if you guys want to. If you want to do it, we totally can.
Yeah, because of the possibility that, like we said, there was an 85% chance that it was cancer, and then a 15% chance that it was benign. I mean, no matter what, the road kind of led to the kidney being removed, but we wanted to know if it was entirely necessary to remove it right now, or possibly in the future. Even if it was a benign tumor, if it kept growing, it was eventually going to choke the kidney to death, and then it would have to be removed anyway. But we could get some usage out of the kidney before that actually happens.
Yeah, it's like if you could get another 5 years or whatever out of that kidney, great. But I think that one of the reasons they don't do the biopsies too is just because there are chances it could come back saying it's benign when it's not really benign. And then you're kind of like, so either way, with that big of a chance, kind of removing it or doing a partial nephrectomy is usually recommended, it seems like. So the biopsies in these cases are kind of, but we like information, and it definitely helped us to know exactly what we were dealing with going into the surgery, especially after going through all the stuff we went through with my case, where there was just like so much uncertainty of what we were actually dealing with throughout. I think it was just good to have that extra little bit of information going into it. But the other thing I was going to say, what was I going to say about the biopsy? I don't remember, but we do have this. We were actually in some of the records that we went through from Brian's scans and stuff. I actually found this one picture that really showed very well and clearly what is going on with the kidneys. So you can see in the picture that we'll put up now from his CT scan, that you can see the kidney on the left having the mass. We'll kind of highlight where the mass is on there. And then you can also see the kidney on the right that looks perfectly normal. So in the case of Brian's mass, it was just like in the middle of everything, like all the arteries and stuff leading into the kidney.
There was a bit of it that was kind of bulging on the side, but for the most part, it was inside the kidney.
Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons why the doctor suggested that we not do a partial nephrectomy, because he said they could go in there and they could start doing the partial nephrectomy, but he seemed to indicate that it was more likely that they were going to have to remove the entire kidney. And as I said before, since I promised him that I was going to lose weight and I was going to get healthy, then he was like, okay, well then I'll just treat you like a donor and I'll just remove the kidney.
Yeah.
Now, take out the risk of spillage, take out the risk of bleeding internally, take out a bunch of risk involving like a bunch of other aspects of a partial nephrectomy where the tumor is that inside of the kidney. And so, we knew that once we got the report back though, that we were on the right path.
Yeah.
Completely 100% that this was the plan that we needed to follow.
Yeah. So results came back on May 8th,
Yep.
Wednesday, May 8th, around 10 in the morning. We are about a 7.5 to 8 hour drive from Rochester. Surgery was scheduled for the 9th, time to be determined. And so we just had to book it. We were already pretty much packed up because we knew what the results were going to be. We'd already come to accept that it was a likelihood that those would be the results. But it's still, seeing it in writing was still just like another eye-opening, oh, this is real life. This is really happening.
Yeah.
And I know that kind of put you in a little bit of a, not panic, but just kind of...
It definitely put me on edge, and especially because when you actually see what it actually is, then I want to know what it is. I want to research it. I want to look it up, see what it is, see what other people have gone through, see how the treatments have gone for them, and like that kind of stuff. But for this, it was, I kept getting all this information that had nothing to do with my diagnosis. It wasn't like, and it kept throwing me off, but I was reading all these sort of like negative things. And then finally, like I actually found some information about the type of cancer, and it actually eased my mind quite a bit, because it was like, okay, this is actually fairly common. This isn't like some special extraordinary thing. This is the type of thing that my doctor here at Mayo Clinic has seen day in and day out for the last 30 years. Like not phased one bit.
Yeah.
And even though I know we'll talk more about the surgery, and I'll bring it up again, my doctors were amazing.
Yeah.
They were honestly just so great. And I cannot speak more highly about that team. And once again, in the next video, I will certainly praise them again.
Yeah. So we drove up to Rochester, and then we found out that he was scheduled to report at 5:45 in the morning the next day for surgery. So that was cool. And like you said, we're going to make a whole other video all about that day, the surgery, his recovery after. We're a few days out now. But just everything about that will be in the next video. But I didn't want to make Brian sit here and talk too long because
I'm actually in quite a bit of pain right now. I'm holding it together pretty well.
Yeah.
And that's even with me taking painkillers and stuff. But you know, it's, if I don't move very much, I can kind of keep it together. If I lay down, I feel pretty good. But right now, I'm still very much recovering, and I want to go lay down.
Yes. So, long story short, my results were good. Brian's results were
what we expected.
But cancer, which is not good, but we expected it. And then he had surgery to remove the kidney. Already, it's gone. Goodbye, cancer.
Gone.
You can go take a hike.
But as you can see, I am alive.
But he's alive. He survived his surgery. He's doing really well. Like, I'm really proud of how he's doing so far in his recovery efforts, even though he's still in a lot of pain. And like I said, in the next video, we will go into a lot more detail on that. But that is all we have for this one. And you can subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos of us and all our fun adventures that we're just full of fun, people. We're full of fun.
We can't help but laugh at all of this because it's just so absurd.
So yes, if you want to see more of our crazy fun adventures in life, subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you want to say good riddance kidney to Brian's old kidney.
Give it a like if you hate cancer.
Give it a like if you hate cancer. #cancer sucks. What else do you usually
Social
say?
media.
Oh yeah, follow us on social media for all the updates that I've been giving, which have been absolutely none because I've been taking care of a baby, taking care of a Brian, and trying to work and trying to process all of this emotionally. So I haven't really been doing social media updates, but follow us on social media and someday there will be updates. And that's the end, right?
Yep, that's all we got.
That's all we got. Okay.
We will see you next time on Cracks in the Kitchen.
Bye.
Bye.